Many people fail in life not necessarily because of ignorance, because of fear. Fear. The fear to take steps, the fear to arise, the fear to minister, the fear to do so many things. That's why when angels appear, the first thing they tell people is fear not. How God deals with fear. Look how dangerous fear is, that it takes 3 dimensions of God's spirit to totally conquer fear. Look at how God addresses fear. That because of how dangerous and serious this operation is, it is not enough to give you power. It won't conquer fear. That there is a tripartite combination of power, of love, and of a sound mind. This is what will totally conquer fear in a man's life. So God has not given you the spirit of fear, but to shield you from the effect of fear, he gives you the spirit of power. He gives you the spirit of love. He gives you the spirit of sound mind. Listen, that means there is a relationship between weakness and fear. If he gives you power, it's because weakness is associated with fear. Are you getting what I'm saying now? There is a relationship between weakness and fear, that every time you are not aware of strength, the reaction is that you can allow fear to find expression. Number 2, that there is a revelation of the love of God and love towards men, that if you do not sustain, fear will be inevitable. Number 3, there is a relationship between a depraved understanding and fear. Look at how God solves the issue of fear. Love, power, sound mind. Do you know, listen, let me tell you this. Fear looks like a very simple issue, but did you know that every other spirit waits for fear to walk? If you reject fear, you can reject every other spirit. The Bible says, and to deliver them who through the fear of death have all their lifetime been subject to bondage. Meaning that every spirit is at the mercy of fear. It is fear that has the courage to open the door. That every oppression of darkness that comes to you stands waiting for fear to give them access. And that fear begins to manipulate your understanding. And that if you lack power, you lack love, you lack a sound or an enlightened mind, you will give fear access, and with fear every other manifestation. Many people fail in life not necessarily because of ignorance, because of fear. Fear. The fear to take steps, the fear to arise, the fear to minister, the fear to do so many things. That's why when angels appear, the first thing they tell people is fear not, because they know that the weakness of men wires them to be afraid. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear not. That means that is what is supposed to happen. That every time you are surrounded by uncertainty, the valley of the shadow, not the spirit, the shadow, the similitude of death, meaning that whatever looks like death can cause fear. No matter how real or aberrated it is, the valley of the shadow of death, it causes fear. But it says, I will fear no evil. There is a reason. For thou art with me. I have an understanding of what your presence and your love can do. Listen very carefully. Courage is not the issue of masculinity. It is a product of understanding certain things about God. That the spirit of power is given to men so that they can conquer fear. If you are suddenly told right now that you have the power to cure cancer even at stage 4, maybe a drug, do you know you will no longer be afraid? Is that true? The information that you hear does something to you, and if you do not have the power to resist it, it will cause fear. And when fear enters you, it will destroy everything about your life. So the spirit of fear manipulates your understanding, manipulates your faculty of expression. How many of you have seen children, because of their understanding, they do not easily have the fortitude for fear? You get the point now? They are not aware that this can hurt them, and so they will come with confidence. That means that the moment you are aware of the potential of a thing to destroy you, and you are aware that you do not have power over it, it will create an unnecessary sense of caution. Why do we fear poverty? Because we think we do not have power over it. Why do we fear death? Have you seen traditionalists that cut themselves and nothing happens? A system tried to aberrate power and immune them so they can dare the undareable, because they are aware that there is some form of power that has given them immunity. Are we together now? When armed robbers go to rob and they rob all kinds of things around them, they believe the awareness that there is some power that they have will make them look at you and even stand in front of a gun, and then you shoot and nothing happens, and they laugh. Why? Because something has immune them. That means the awareness of lack of power will keep you in fear forever. Please listen to what I'm teaching you. The fear of failure causes failure. The fear of limitation causes limitation. The fear of weakness causes weakness. The fear of death causes death. The fear of poverty causes poverty. Wasteful spending is bad, but fearful spending is evil. Are you seeing that now? Yes. Notice the degree to which fear controls our life. The moment you are driving, suddenly fear comes. You can die, and all of a sudden you are confused. A voice speaks to you and say you can die. You have a dream, and in that dream you see yourself in a coffin. You stand up, and all of a sudden in your own room you are no longer comfortable. You need somebody else's presence to console you. No voice was heard. Something was done to your mind. But the awareness of power, it says, but the people that do know their God, they shall be strong. Strong power. The awareness that the believer can sustain power over and against the works of darkness can annihilate and destroy fear. Listen to me. Fear has destroyed more people than you can imagine. There are many people who may never rise. There are many families who may never rise. There are many ministers who may never rise because of fear. The fear of death being the greatest of them. I will die. I may die. Job said, the thing that I feared most has come upon me. Because fear works like faith. So the Bible says God has not given us the spirit of fear, but of power. Number 2, of love. There is something about the understanding of the love of God. You see, the Bible says, I have loved you with an everlasting love, and I have drawn you with my loving kindness. Let me talk to you. Why do people not give? What is the reason?
To continue, please consider watching this video next.